Round 2. Win the die roll playing first. Yeah, gotta keep this one. Nice looking hand. We get to go turn 2 hanger back, turn 3 engineer. And if we draw another hanger back, we get to do that cool play too. Alright, probably a tokens deck, which did annihilate me last time, but we have a couple seismic ruptures this time, which out of sideboard, which makes it a little bit better. And we have the Tomb of the Spirit Dragon, which could be okay too. Alright, I don't mind this so much. Oh yeah, it's not necessarily the token deck. It's probably more likely the Mardu aggro deck, to be honest. I don't mind him killing Hangerback. I mean, I would have liked to have built Hangerback further along, but yeah, so it looks like it's the Mardu aggro deck. We have a pretty reasonable matchup against this, actually, but we're going to have to draw some beauties here. Tomb of the Spirit Dragon doesn't seem bad. So we've got perfect mana, but we need some gas. We have a lot of gas in our deck, though, which is good. This deck our deck top decks well. Do not have removal for that little fella, unfortunately. All right, well, a Mist Duress is nice. That's a good draw. Let's go... Let's go Tomb, Chief, and I'm not going to swing with the Chief. Although if he has removal for the Chief, I can't. All right, let's just get in then. I was going to say I didn't want to attack with the Chief because if he has removal... See, the thing is, if he has removal, because he's got Spell Mastery anyway, so he would just remove Chief and then the same situation would happen, except I wouldn't gain the 2 extra damage the Chief dealt. So I think attacking with the Chief there is actually correct. Because if he has like Roast or Fiery Impulse, he's going to cast it anyway on the Chief. Because he needs to kill Chief now. Alright, did have the removal as expected, so I'm glad I attacked with Chief. Not attacking with Soulfire is interesting. I guess because I could crack back with Thopter Engineer. Or maybe the Wandering Fumarole. That might actually be a good attack here, to tell you the truth. Let's do that. I'm willing to trade a Fumarole for a Grandmaster. This is a good trade for us anyway. I don't need the land. I've got the double red. I'm going to make the trade. I think this trade's fine. We basically give up one of our land cards for a pretty annoying card with the removal spells I know are in my opponent's deck. Like Roast, just 10 point, little life swing thing. Pretty annoying. Gideon's okay. 2 cards left in my opponent's hand. All right. Top decking land, which is icky. I don't like it. Do not like it. All right. Well, we're going to go for Gids here. Monastery Mentor is pretty sick. Well, there's a Ghost Fire Blade. Let's go Land Blade. Equip. Bash in at Gideon. Opponent. And we'll re-equip Blade to an Engineer and pass. We're not going to gain life off Tomb. I think it's better to just kind of keep his guys at bay for now. Well, it's going to work pretty well. So block a knight. Take 5. Still okay. Where are our top decks? Is that a reasonable question or what? Equip the blade here and pass. We have Tomb of the Spirit Dragon, so can gain some life, even if he has like another Crackling Doom. I think we're still alive. All right. Tomb of the Spirit Dragon. Pretty good. I guess even opponent did not have lethal even without Tomb of the Spirit Dragon, but Tomb of the Spirit Dragon's proven to be pretty insane. I think at this point I'm ready to swap our Foundry of the Councils for a second one. Just because Foundry's less relevant now with 4 Wandering Fumaroles, right? All right, sideboard action against this deck. So we've got Monastery Mentor. We have Soulfire Grandmaster. We've got Gideon. I think Seismic Rupture is in order at this point. And let's bring in the impulses. So he's got all of the removal. We're going to expect Kolaghan's Command. I think we want the Dispels for that reason. I think we actually can dump the Rose. I'd rather have these removal spells. So we'll dump Rose. Whoops. We'll dump the Thopter Spy Network. Can dump a Blade. Oh, and Radiant Flames is going to be a thing, so let's bring in a couple negates too. And then we'll cut, I think we'll cut like 1 Chief, even though I like the card a lot. And I think we're going to cut 1 Engineer. Because I'd rather have the Vile Aggregate, even though it does get Murderous Cutted. So Engineer's worse against Radiant Flames. Aggregate's worse. He's going to have... He didn't see Aggregate, but he's probably going to assume. Engineer is worse against Radiant Flames, but better against Murderous Cut. Maybe I do want the Engineer and we'll drop 1 Aggregate. Okay, let's try this out. We're going to keep it. Obviously do not have a 3rd mana, but we're on the draw, and this hand is real good if we do draw a 3rd mana. Opponent mulligans. Keeps it 6. Alright, there's our 3rd land, so looking good now. We get to go Wild Slash into Aggregate, perhaps. Could have waited on the Ghostfire Blade. Kolaghan's Command gets better if I were to hold the Ghostfire Blade, but I feel like I'm going to have my mana pretty occupied for a while. But that's still not a really good reason to play Blade there if you think about it, because I could have just gone... Alright, he's got Crackling Doom mana up. What would I rather him? I guess I'd... Well, Aggregate and Chief of the Foundry are going to be pretty equivalent targets for Crackling Doom, right? Because, like, Aggregate's going to get better with Whirler Rogue, but so is Chief of the Foundry. There's going to be less things that deals with Vile Aggregate, but still enough things where I probably shouldn't care. It's almost... So it's basically like, which card do I want to walk into Crackling Doom with? Aggregate versus Chief of the Foundry. I'm not sure on the answer to that. I guess we'll walk into it with Chief because there's more things that are going to be able to kill Chief. I'd rather him Crackling Doom my 3 toughness thing than Crackling Doom my 5 toughness thing. So basically, that makes sense in my mind. In my mind, that makes sense. Because we know he runs Fiery Impulse, right? So would I rather have something that dies to Crackling Doom and Fiery Impulse, or something that only dies to Crackling Doom? Alright, got the Wild Slash for that, so that's good news. He does have his own mana up, though. Alright, well, let's go land... Adopter, Engineer. We're going to swing for 4 here. Basically, I want to just Wild Slash this in response to whatever he's casting. Actually, I should have done it right there. I didn't think about the fetch. I could have, in response to the fetch, done the thing, and he wouldn't get the token. So that was a mistake on my part. In response to the fetch, I should have Wild Slashed the Mentor, and he wouldn't have been able to get the Prowess token. So that was genuinely a mistake. Could be a costly one. We'll see how costly it is. But yes, absolutely in response to fetch. In fact, my opponent should have just cracked the fetch on his turn, but I obviously made the mistake there. Alright, that's a good draw. So let's go Pia and Kieran. I think we're going to get Crackling Doomed or Kolaghan's Commanded here. Murderous Cut on the token that I equipped. Okay. I think we are going to get Radiantly Flamed here pretty soon. Two cards left in my opponent's hand. Alright, I think he's just going to Flame. So then I'm going to have to follow up with Aggregate into Whirler Rogue, which is still okay. But I predict a Flames. Or not? Chandra Flamecaller. Well, I did not predict that. That is a board wipe. So, one card left in my opponent's hand. I can just take out Chandra. Let's do that. I think that's okay. Because if I play something and he has a removal spell, I feel like it's worse for us. Alright, Jace is going to want to die. He does have Murderous Cut. Alright, his last card was a fetch, so we're okay. We're actually sitting okay here. He is going to get to attack with Needle Spires for 4, but we're still okay. So we want to play Whirler Rogue and equip a token. Seismic Rupture. Well, that's actually pretty nice. Let's do that. So we'll take this guy out and play the aggregate and pass. No cards left in our opponent's hand too, which is nice. Removal for Jace seems really good when your opponent's got, you know, copy effects or whatever. Alright. So, oh, that's really nice draw too. Really nice draw. So we get to go Whirler Rogue, equip the aggregate. Can counter the Crackling Doom, can counter everything of importance here. Ingesting a Monster Mentor, yes. Shall accept. Opponent's pretty much toast at this point. I mean, I guess they could have a board wipe like a Radiant Flames, but we still got it. All right, well, beat this deck. Very nice. This is always a fun deck to beat because it's a very expensive deck. So when you beat expensive decks with budget decks, that to me is the most satisfying because, I don't know, it just shows you that money doesn't buy wins, you know? All right, let's go to the next match.